Yeah, so I'm still like, now my goal is like so far ahead. I'm not even trying to shoot for the stars and the moons anymore. I'm trying to shoot like past the galaxy. Do you know what I mean? That's how like I'm trying to set my goal, because like the limit is endless.
I really just want to start by saying this is kind of like random, but like ever since when I was like living here, I don't know why, you've always like weirdly intimidated me, and I don't know why. Like as in, I just feel like I have like respect for you some weird reason. Like I'm just like damn, and I'm glad like we can just like talk now and just kind of I don't know, just get to know you a little bit better. Yeah, that's
I'm
like
not intimidating
random.
at all.
Cool. Yeah, well, let's just get started. Maybe just start off with your little origin story of like where you were born. And like,
Cool. So I was born 29th of June 86 in Jakarta, Indonesia. Moved here when I was 10, 11 in 97, 96, 97. And made this my home, really. Went to high school here. I went to Hale School and pretty much grew up here all through my life. Then, what did I do? I started dancing, trying to pick up a girl, so I tried to impress her. So I started wanting to learn how to break dance, how to b-boy. I didn't know it was called b-boying at the time. I just knew it was called break dancing. And I saw Run DMC was performing, and I was like the music video clip kind of like really cool. I was like, man, I want to do that. Like, like, because I just saw it was cool, and so I wanted to learn how to break, how to dance. And then from there, yeah, I just started competing a lot, and then became my profession for a while. And you know, hip hop became really ingrained in me. Before I was like hell into rock and roll, into heavy metal stuff, you know, and like alternative rock and all that stuff. And then this girl got me into hip hop, so I started to try to impress her. I'm like, oh, hip hop.
Yeah.
And then I was like hooked, and that just changed my life.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. Yeah, maybe let's just start with, we'll go from the start. So like you were born in Indonesia. Is it Jakarta?
Jakarta, yeah.
Yeah. So you said you lived there until 10. So
I was there till 10, and then at the time there was a lot of riots and stuff like that, and and like, you know, and they were just like, yeah, politically I think it was dangerous for us, the Chinese Indonesian, to live there. And we were being targeted, so my dad wanted to move the whole family somewhere safe. And so we immigrated here, you know, just for our safety.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you have like much memories of like what was happening and stuff?
I remember seeing things on the news, like churches getting bombed, and like hearing the news, like people's heads getting chopped off, and like people running around with heads, and like women getting raped and killed and burnt to life, just like hectic. And you, like at the time you went to online, like you went online and you see all these graphic images there, and just kind of like, whoa, it was just hectic. I just it was crazy, and I didn't know what's going on. I think
I was like, did you like? How did you process that as a kid? Like, were you kind of like...
I didn't really process it much. I was like, man, all right, cool, this is dangerous. I understand we're leaving, but I didn't understand like the politics behind it, why we're being targeted, and you know, why everything's getting burned and why people are getting killed. I didn't understand it. We just knew it was happening.
Yeah.
So we ended up moving here.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. What point did you like kind of like reflect on that and kind of understand the whole situation? I think
when I was a teenager, I was like, whoa, that was pretty deep. You know, like I didn't really want to start researching back then again. I was like, man, that in the past, like I didn't want to research. I mean, there's videos still up there and stuff like that, and it was kind of gory. Like, you know, I remember seeing the images. I'm like, whoa. But as a kid, for some reason, I just kind of could handle that sort of graphic a little bit more than now. It's like I could watch horror movies back then, but now it's like if I watch horror movies, like fuck. I don't know, for some reason, I just couldn't handle it. Yeah, it's weird.
Damn. So what was like primary school like? Did you
Primary school I spent in Jakarta. I think I only spent year 6 I was here. So in a way, like my first primary school year in Australia. And it was kind of tough because I couldn't speak English. You know, was bullied a lot. You know, so you kind of like, you want to learn how to speak. You know, like if you're an immigrant and you don't know how to speak, you just get bullied a lot.
That's the first thing.
Yeah, it's like the first thing. I'm like, I need to be able to master this language. And so I was like really training and learning how to speak like, you know, Australians. And then you kind of like, I was trying to like push myself. All right, I'm gonna do English lit. You know, just kind of like, all right, they think I'm just because I'm Asian, I have to do
Math,
English
right?
secondary language
Okay,
or
okay,
something
okay.
like that, right? One of those kind of subjects. I'm like, no, fuck that. I want to do English lit. I'm going to kind of prove myself I could do that as well. So I was trying to do all these hard subjects, trying to prove I can do them as well. And I was like an A kind of grade student until I started dancing. This kind of like when my grade kind of went down. I was like, oh shit, this is like it's so much more fun. And my
Yeah.
mind was like into breaking, and I was just like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I was like so obsessed with hip hop and breaking,
Hectic.
and that's how I was doing. And my grades went down. I was trying to rebel.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, I want to be cool, and I don't want to be like nerdy kid anymore. And I was like rebelling and started going around with the cool kids on the streets and running amok.
Yeah.
That was kind of like my teenagehood. I wasn't getting into trouble, but I was just hanging around with these kids that I thought it was like, hey, it's cool to hang around with the street kids.
Yeah.
Even though I came from like a good background, good family background, I just wanted to rebel and try to have a taste of like
Just on
what
the
it's
side,
like,
pretty much.
what it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
being
yeah.
like on the streets.
Yeah. That's hectic. Like before we get into like all the dance stuff, because I know like you've done like a bunch of stuff with dance, but during like high school, like when did you start with dance again? So
I started, I think, end of year 11.
okay, so like 16.
Yeah, so like I was 16, 17.
Cool. Was there any other things you were into like growing up as a kid? Like were you?
I was just like a nerdy kid, held into my anime, chess, and like, what was I doing? It's like, yeah, just like movies and all that stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
normal kid.
Were you into like fashion and like all these kind of
No,
things
no,
now?
not
Like,
at
it was
all. I
just-
didn't know
okay.
what it was. I was dressed up as like a skate kid, like
Okay.
fashion back then was so different to what it is now. Like the kids onto it, social media, like, back then we just wear skate stuff, like surfwear and skate stuff, like Billabong, Rusty, and all that.
Yeah. Love
That's
it.
kind of like normal. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, that's what we wear.
That's crazy. I remember wearing like shit
Yeah,
like that
it's
too.
like, man, it's like, it's like, and then only till when you start dancing, like getting to hip hop, and I start like dressing like Nelly,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
like wearing bandanas in the streets. Like it's weird, like wearing like one of those metallic jerseys that you like Rough Riders and
okay.
Boo and all that.
Yeah, that Fubu.
And then there was a store called Skunkwear, like all that
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know if you remember. It was like that's where we used to get our ghetto wear.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, reflecting back, I'm like, that was insane what we were wearing back then.
Yeah. Damn. All right. So maybe let's get into in terms of starting dance, you said you were like trying to impress a girl. What
Yeah.
was that scenario? If you had to like walk through that little.
So
scenario?
basically, I had a crush on this girl. She's from Canada, and then she was like, I was like, what do you listen to? I'm like, oh, I listen to Lauryn Hill. I'm like, Lauryn Hill? Who the hell is that? And then she got me to Lauryn Hill and Fugees and all that. And I was like, oh, listen to hip hop. And she started getting me into these like musicians. I started listening to it. I was like, oh, this is sick. And even though I didn't like it at the start, I was like, I don't know if I like it. But I kind of forced myself to like it. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
maybe I like it. And then I started getting into it more. And then, yeah, I think just like, and then I remember one day I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to break. And she came back with a flyer. I was like, and it was on the flyer says B-boy Nico from Germany. It was like a 4 or 5 week course or something like that. There's like 2 workshops in a week, and then spread out within 4 weeks. So I went there, and I just remember him like first time, like, wow. It was just like doing this move called air flares. It was doing 10, and at the time, like in Perth, it's like I think the
never-
maximum was like 4 or something like that. And I was like, this guy was doing 10, like no biggie.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? This guy's like epic, and everyone was there. All the best b-boys in Perth was there.
Where was this exactly though? Like.
This was I remember clearly. It was one of the workshops was at King Street Arts Centre,
Yeah.
and the other one was PCYC in Subiaco.
Okay.
I think Subiaco was the first one, and actually King Street was the first one, and then it was like busting crazy power moves. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then I remember him saying, I've been dancing for 6 years. So in my head, it's like, wow, in 6 years I can dance like him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but even now I'm like, wow, it's like, I couldn't do the moves he was doing back then. I got into different rap.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like we started doing it, and then made some friends, and then they took me to few like practice spots, like King Street, the Bridge, not King Street, Kings Park, not Kings Park, sorry, Central Park,
Yeah.
and then the Bridge before the Bridge got demolished, and then I was like, wow, this is cool, and then hang around with these guys, and they showed me because these guys came from different backgrounds. They came from the streets. So I was like, oh, cool. I was hanging around with these kids. I'm like, wow, this is what you do? This is interesting. Running around, like catching trains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I had to lie to my mom because my mom used to like drop me off. What are you doing? Oh, I'm doing dance class. But I literally was just like going
Just
around
hang out.
street, just like running amok with these
Yeah,
guys, with these
yeah.
little
Yeah.
gangsters. And I was like, yeah. And then mum picked me up somewhere else, you know.
That's so good. Just
Yeah, it
come
was
back
just like, yeah, come back. It's like, yeah, it
dope
was cool,
class,
like,
dope
you know,
class.
because came from like a nice suburb area, you know, and these kids came like dodgy area, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to be cool back then. I was like hanging around with these guys a lot. Yeah, after that, I just started getting to dancing quite a bit.
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
like every day, almost every day, we'd start training with these street kids, you know, like, and we make a little crew, and it was cool, and we got better and started to know other guys who's like better. So I started hanging out with these guys, and you know, climb my way up.
Yeah. Real quick, do you have any siblings or anything? Or
I got one brother, but he's like hell into different scene,
Okay.
like techno dance
Okay.
scene. He was into cars and
Okay,
you know,
okay. 'Cause I was about to
different
say-
style of gangs. Like he was
Yeah.
into like the car gangs. I was like into these little.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Because usually I was like the older brother or like older sibling usually like introduce you to like some type
Yeah,
of music.
no, he kind of knew I was like the good one in the family.
Okay.
So he was kind of like, all right, this kid, I'm not gonna like trying to influence.
Yeah, just let
Yeah, you just let him do his thing, and then he's just running amok. He's like, you know, the old brother sometimes like, you know what, I want to be free. The first one kind of like want to be free.
yeah.
So that was him.
Crazy. What did your parents like think every time you like? What were you telling them every time you went?
So every time I remember, like, his mom and dad split. So I was just pretty much with my mom, kind of raised us by herself.
Okay.
And yes, I would just like, you know, as long as she sees my grade is okay,
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want. You know,
Yeah,
I can be
yeah.
like, all right, I want to do this dance, mom. Like, sometimes I'm going to training. I'm hanging with friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of my friends are really nice anyway. So she thinks I was going out with my school friends, which
Yeah,
is like the nice kids. You know, the kind of geeky, nerdy kids. But then she didn't know I was hanging out with the other kids, like the street kids. If she knew, she would have freaked out.
Yeah,
You know, because I was like catching train to Bassendean, Morley, like
Jesus,
everywhere. You know what I mean? Like far Armadale, or like wherever. Like they were taking us. Fremantle, just running around Fremantle. But mostly we just hanging around city, Northbridge, and all that.
Yeah.
Literally running amok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's so
Crazy.
crazy. With like dance and stuff, what like you were starting to hang out with these kids and stuff. Like, what was your training method, or like what was your goal with dance? Were you trying to just like fit in with the kids?
Literally,
or, like,
the
you
first thing
tryna-
I remember is like I want to learn how to do head spin and windmills.
Okay.
And then we're just practicing like constantly.
Yeah.
And then asking like every time we go to training session out on the streets, like, how do you do this? Asking the older guys, how do you do this? And then how do you do that?
Yeah.
And then we get frustrated. And I bought mattress, like bought a lino and practice at home every day. Like I used to commit at least half an hour to an hour every day, just like after school, just trying practicing windmills
Yeah.
until I sort of get it. And then I just remember, like, you know, back in the days, like when you're training on the street, you know, the coolest kids or like the best, the elite dancers are always closest to the boombox.
Okay.
But they're trained near the boombox. Do you know what I mean? And the newbies are always trained on the outside. So we start from the outside. I'm like, man, one day I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to be where the cool kids are. And I remember like the systematic crews always staying there near the boombox. And then we got the Styletics crew. They're kind of like the young and upcoming at the time, who's like always battling systematic. And we got Concrete Elite and a bunch of other crews, Aero Sold and all them. And then we coming in and me and the other kids I started hanging out with, like, let's do our own crew. So we started making our own crew, and we weren't very good.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we just think, oh, one day we're gonna get there, you know.
Yeah.
And we start training a lot, and then I just remember bumping into one of the kids, like, yo, you gotta do class with this guy. He does like private training. His name's Tucker. I'm like, sick. So he used to charge like $15 for a class.
Yeah.
And he would pick us up from the train station, bring it to his house for an hour. $15. I remember, $15. That's so cheap.
Yeah.
You know, considering like now I charge like $150, $200 an hour, you know, like just to do like a little private.
Yeah.
And it's like $15. Looking back, it's like, wow, that was so cheap. And I remember we became really close. And then I used to take this guy from Systematic Crew. His name is Benny Benz.
Yeah.
He's like my best friend now. But I used to go to his class, and you know, just like training with him, and just kind of like, yeah, he's in the Systematic Crew, which is like elite. I'm like, wow, one day I want to, you know, like hang out with these guys. So I was hanging out with Tucker, which is part of the Styletics Crew, which is the number 2 crew, I would say, you know, and we became really, really good friends. He used to take me around everywhere, and then I was kind of training under the wings of Styletics Crew to a point where there was like, they wanted to recruit me, but I was already training a lot with the guys from Concrete Elite.
Okay.
So, and then Conquer Elite was asked me first, like, hey, do you want to join? And I'm like, yeah, I want to join.
Yeah.
And then later on, Star League's like, yo, you should join us. I'm like, well, Conquer Elite already asked me, and I feel like a dick if I join you guys. So out of respect, I have to stay with Conquer Elite. And then after that, and they get pretty shitty, like, fuck Conquer Elite, you know, like, we're better. I'm like, I know you're better, but like, hey, these guys have been training with for ages, and they took me in first. And, you know, Conquer Elite then later on became Zoo Rock Crew, which, you know, which became like our crew. And, you know, and after that, I think on the hindsight, I was like kind of happy that I stayed with Conquer Elite, because Zoo Rock Crew then became, you know, national champs and all that. And we achieved so much more. And, and Star League, unfortunately, they kind of disbanded, and Tucker went to our crew, to Zoo Rock as well. And so it's like a lot of like movements there. And Conquer and Star League kind of went, you know, kind of sad because they went nowhere really. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the members had problems, and so we kind of took over. Like, Zoo Rock became world standard.
Do you remember like making that decision to stay with it? Was it very like, did you feel like it was just I just don't want to be a dick? Like,
yeah, I mean, difficult because I was cool with Starletics and cool with Conquer Elite. Like, a lot of my teachers from Starletics, but in my head, I wasn't like, I didn't think I was good enough to be part of that crew.
Okay.
And then with Conquer Elite, because there's so much like down to earth, I feel like they're less intimidating. I feel like I can bond with them a little bit better.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, I feel more comfortable with Conquer Elite. While Starletics, I feel like shit, these guys I look up to, and they're so good. And I was just like hell intimidated by Starletics at the time. Until they're like, hey, you should join us. Like, oh shit, like you guys want us? Like, want me? So that was kind of like cool to see that.
Yeah, damn.
But I know, it was like, it would have been sick. If we kind of joined force together, it would have been cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, yeah, it's crazy.
Damn. What do you call it? For like you starting off with dance, was there a goal in terms of like, were you picturing like doing like amazing like things with dance, or were you just kind of going with the flow?
Literally, I just want to pick up girls.
That was like,
you know, that was like my goal. I was like, man, if I can dance, I can get a girlfriend and all this shit. I was like, and then after that, I was like, when you get better, it's like, you don't even think about that. You're just like, I want to get better. I want to start winning.
Yeah.
So we started going to clubs, and the best feeling is like when you started going to clubs, if you can dance, everyone would just like applaud you, and you just like the club heroes. You know what I mean? You can go to any clubs, they're like, oh, they just let you in. We're like superstars. It's like, oh, there's kids that dancers. And even like the gangsters at the time just don't mess around with you, because like, oh, these guys are dancers, they're cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we kind of like protected that way. So that was kind of like our little superpowers, I guess. We just felt like superstars in a way. Like, oh, cool, if you're good. And then you just want to get better and better and better. You just kind of want to start competing. And there was no internet at the time, so we were kind of like, all right, so we want to travel to Sydney, to Melbourne to start battling the number one crews.
Yeah.
Right. So we're like, we start training, and at the beginning, you didn't even make it to qualify top 16 and all that. And kind of like, fuck, we traveled so far and we didn't even make it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bummed down. We try to start training again. But we always look up to guys like Systematic and Starlink. They made impact already. They already start winning competitions there. So we're like, you know what? If you train like them and we get better, we get as good as them, we can make an impact over East as well. So we start doing that, and we get better. We start traveling to USA, to Japan, and start traveling, you know. And I think as you travel, you kind of like see the standards, like, wow, this is where you want to be. Like, you know, this is what the standards like. Because before then, you just kind of watch the videos on VHS, like, okay, that's the standard, but you see them live, it's a different thing. You kind of feel like you can achieve that.
Yeah.
You know, I can do that too, because when you see them live, it's like, actually, these guys not as good as you think, because when you watch the edited videos on VHS, they just think they're like so much better, right? And you get there like, you know what? I can do that too.
That's dope. I feel like, I don't know like if it would be, but I feel like most people, maybe even now, I don't know, like the natural thing would be like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know
like,
what. I just had like some thought. I'm like,
yeah.
I think you just have a different mentality. That's what separates us from like the best and the mediocre B-boys, right? So like the mediocre guys just kind of like, I can never be that. And then like the elite's like, man, I'm the best. I can be better than these guys. And you can start like training your thoughts like, hey, I'm better than these guys. I'm the best. And you start, you know the term fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
In breaking is very crucial. Like even if you're not better than the other guy in a battle, you have to think you're better than them.
Yeah.
You have to make it seem like you're better than them. So the point like, and then when they're dancing, like, hey, hang on a second. He seems like even the opponent of him believes that he's actually worse than me because of the way
the
way
way
I
he
kind of like
handled it.
taunt him in a way.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like, yeah. And that's the mentality I took in life now. It's just kind of like you switch it. You make sure you have a bigger goal and you don't deny yourself. You don't doubt yourself in a way. So that's how we kind of like train ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super dope. Yeah, because I definitely think that mentality would have come from like dancing and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like you look at rappers now, right? Like you see, that's a hip hop mentality. Like hip hop is always like true hip hop dudes, the pioneers especially. They think the shit. You see, Kanye is like, I'm rock god. He's you know, everyone just have a big ego in a way, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say. I think that there's a fine line between ego and confidence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Ego is like when you think you're dope, but then confidence when you know you're dope. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of difference. Like when you start off having big ego and then it turns into confidence, right? So you kind of fake it, you have this big ego, and then later on it becomes confidence.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of like how I see it.
That's cool. I like the way that you like kind of differentiate, because to me, yeah, it's like every time, because like I feel like I'm super confident with like so many things, and then to me, I'm just like, it's just natural to be this confident because I'm just like, I just believe I can do anything. But like to some people, like what is the difference between the ego and like confidence? Yeah. And yeah, I think that's like
people like some people like will say I'm egotistic or whatever, right? And I'm just like, dude, I'm not. I'm just confident. Yeah. It's like, you know, but I'm not being a dick about it. Yeah. But some people have confidence and they can also be a dick, and then it seems like, hey, you got a big ego there.
Yeah. Because that's the way I see it as well. Like to me, the difference is like confidence is like being confident and you doing your thing, and ego is like somehow, some way, like you're tearing someone else's like thing down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, I'm confident, 100%. But then I'm being a dick. Yeah. Then it's like 100%. That's probably more to ego. Confidence, like you just do your thing and you're just like going for it. Simple as that.
Exactly. You don't just like shut people down, right? You just don't be like, hey, you whack, whatever, right? Yeah. And just being a dick. You're not being confident at all, just being a dick. Yeah. You know, it's like if you be like, but if you deep inside, you know you're good, you kind of like it presents itself in a different way. I just remember seeing like walking to a jam and you see like the best b-boys in the world coming to the jam, and I wouldn't even know what it looks like, but you can just feel the presence. Like they walk in, they could be like 5 foot tall. I'm like, holy shit, who the hell is this guy? And the way they dress, the way they walk, you know, they walk with like confidence, like, yo, what's up, boom, boom, you know. And then you see like the newbies, like, oh, what's up, man? How are you, man? Like, how you doing? So it's like they don't have the confidence, but like guys like have confidence, we can just feel the aura, the energy. It's like, wow, like I want to be like that guy. Yeah. And I took that to life too, right? You know, every time you go out, it's like boom, you know, like you walk like you're the shit, like spotlights everywhere. Yeah. So that's kind of like how you want to kind of walk through life, I guess. Yeah. That's super dope. What other kind of takeaways did you get from dance? Like other specific lessons? There's a lot of things, I think. You know, I think fashion's a big one too. That's how I got into fashion, because, you know, I remember like Benny from Systematic, every time he comes to training, he'd be like, he looks fresh, like, whoa. You know, like all the best b-boys always look really dope. You know, obviously there's some b-boys, like the best b-boys still don't know how to dress up, but you just kind of like, man, like, you know, we used to try to, you know, even learning how to lay shoes and how to coordinate the colors, stuff like that, it made like a lot of difference to us. You know, and we used to wear name buckles, everything has our name on it, t-shirt with our name, a crew name. You really want to like present yourself and really like establish yourself, your name out. You want to get your name out so much to the point where you brand yourself, you know. Yeah, everyone wants to know, yo, that's Edit or that's Benny Benz or whatever, right? So you want everyone to know, so you have like, you have to stand out, you know. So that's how I kind of like learned where I got my fashion tips from, I guess. Yeah. I got into it that way. It's like you have to dress fresh, because that's the first impression is the way you dress. No matter how good you are, if you walk into the jam and you're wearing like armband and like headband, you kind of look, you know, look whack. It's like, dude, it's like, are you coming to train to gym, or are you coming to a party, to a jam? You know what I mean? Like we used to wear boom, like, and then the older guys would wear like dope fresh sneakers with like fat laces on, like the jacket would have like graffiti on the back, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, whoa, that's sick. Yeah. You know, it's like, I wish I can pull that off, or I wish I can dress like that. So that's how I got into fashion, I guess. You know, we didn't know it was fashion. We were just like, hey, this is the way you have to do. You have to dress up kind of cool. You have to dress fresh. That's the term. Like, you have to dress fresh. You have to make that first impression. Yeah. Fuck, that's dope. I'm curious, what would you weigh up of like looking dope, but then having the aura without looking dope? You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's the confidence too. Like sometimes you can just like, right now I can just wear anything. It's like wacky stuff, right? If I wear it with confidence, they'll be like, kids will be like, yo, that's dope. Yeah. Right? I can wear goggles and I'd be like confident, hey, what's up, man? Like, big ass snowboarding goggles if I want to. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, that's kind of dope. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, as long as you don't look wacky or whatever, right? You know, like if you wear it with confidence, like man, you can pull anything off.
Because that's the thing interesting. Like even the Jaden Smith thing, like wearing the Batman costume and stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, it's just so interesting because like like the difference between like just purely faking it with like this or faking it through like the aura.
You learn like he would learn from his dad Will, right?
Yeah.
It's just like man, he just pull anything off. He'd wear like crop top if he wants to, he still look fresh. And you know, we learned from like, you know, celebrities like rappers and stuff back then, like they always look fresh. You know, so they took it from like, you know, like if you remember Run DMC, they used to say like we dress like b-boys because b-boys were like you know, the life of the party in hip hop, right? So they come in, they always dress fresh and all that. And I think it's just ingrained in hip hop.
Yeah.
I think that confident thing is huge. You can, you know, you have to have confidence to be able to pull off like some wacky stuff, right? Some like statement pieces. You want to wear this snake skin, python skin, leather jacket or whatever, right? If you don't have confidence, it's not gonna look good. You know, you want to wear big gazelle glasses. You need to have confidence to wear like big blings, whatever, right? You need to have that confidence. You need to learn how to walk it. And that's why if you look at in hip hop culture, you know, it goes from like the Bronx area and the New York culture too. Like you see in the Bronx, like where, you know, they learn from the pimps and whatever, like the street guys and the drug dealers, and they're just flexing and they all have confidence. So that's the kind of thing that we used to look at.
Yeah.
You know, why there's always reasons why certain characters dress different certain way. So there's always reason why.
Hectic.
Yeah.
That's is there any other major like lessons from dance or even like through like music?
I think the main thing for me is like music was a big thing, and just like the elements of hip hop was a big thing. And I think what I took from dance, besides the confidence, I think it's also learning how to visualize what you want and like don't be afraid to fail.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like I think so many times that people think, oh, failing is it's a big thing. For me, it's like, man, failing is like you learn from it. You like when I lose, I'm like, fuck, I would be like get so pissed off, but I'm like, man, how do I win this? And I'll ask, why did I lose? Like, and then the people tell me, oh, you lost because of this. Boom, improve that, improve that. So it's like, cool. Like back then, I remember I was doing like weird, my style dance was like weird, like threading and all that. And like, I remember all the guys like, and I was asked one of the judges, like, why did I lose? Like, man, you didn't do any foundation, you didn't do any of the dance. I'm like, makes sense. All right, so I went back and just started doing foundation. And that's when I became known as a foundation guy because I went so hard on it, and I started doing a lot of footwork, and everyone just knew me as the footwork specialist.
Yeah.
You know, and that was kind of like, I took it to the next level. You know, and that's when I start seeing results. I'm like, fuck, I'm start winning, and you know, like, man, that was good. Like, you know, I'm so taking a lot of feedback back. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And never really, not once that I just be like, I just beat myself down. I always want to improve. So winning wasn't like a big thing for me anymore. I didn't even look trying to win, but I trying to be creative, trying to invent. And I think creativity thing is a big thing. You always want to know how to dance so people, you know, recognize you from miles away. When they turn the lights off, only can see a silhouette, they should be able to recognize.
Yeah. It's weird. I've heard that statement before. That's
I know. It's like, I think you've heard it so many times before. Like, it's true. It's true. Like, you know, like if people, even the way we dress, if someone's like wearing the hat like this, I wear my hat like this. If I was playing like this, I wear it like this, right? It's like this different way of like creating your identity. Even like your dress, the way you dress. Oh, that guy wears that all the time. Or that guy rocks this certain way. He rocks the shoelace a certain way. Simple things like that makes a difference. The way you walk, the way you dance, like the way you use your arms, the way you use your legs, it makes a difference. So you always like creating your own identity. It's not like ballet where you have to look perfect. You have to be the same. Everything has to be perfect. Imperfection is the key in hip hop. Because that's what creates creativity. Mistakes create creativity. Like people when they couldn't do a certain move, they end up creating a different move. The way your legs the way you're born or your body type and stuff like that makes a difference too.
Definitely. I think that's one of the biggest things. Hey, like your body shape and body type. It automatically creates like a different look. If you can like use
like, for example, if you dance, like, cause you're lanky, you're tall, like you
It's different.
You look different to me.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it's like, fuck, I need to match your energy because you're so much bigger than me. So I'll try and extend my arms more. Like when I'm battling, I'll be like, fuck, I'm like trying to get that energy because I'm short. So like in the battle, I have to make my energy noticed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the kind of like things I have to present myself to. So even in business now, if I go to like fashion shows, I have to present myself bigger than I am. Like
that's so interesting. Do you feel like that's kind of crazy connection? Like, do you feel like you have a battle mentality even doing 100%. Like business stuff?
In business and stuff like that, I'll deal with like millionaires and business entrepreneurs who made it. Do you know what I mean? Like even the way, for example, through body language, right? If I didn't learn that, I'll probably be sitting, for example, if I'm having a meeting with you and you're like a millionaire, you establish yourself, I'll probably be like, wow, like that's amazing. This is how I would do, right?
Yeah.
But then if I want to present myself, I'm on the same level, I'll probably do this. I'll be like, cool, like whatever, I'm presenting myself on the same level.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to be intrigued, like, hang on, we're on the same level here because, do you know what I mean? Like the body language match your body language, right? Because you have a higher value than I am. Obviously in your head, I'm established, I don't give a fuck with everyone else. And these are just kids to me. And for me, if I want to impress you, I'll have to do the same. I have to give you that same energy, the same, body language, right? But you'll be like, whoa, this kid's interesting because I have like, things that I can say to you and like, a lot of things that I can impress you with and they'll find me interesting, like through these body language and NLP, the neural linguistic programming, like all that stuff, right? So I learned a lot about that stuff and that's like I learned through dancing, subconsciously. I was like in battles, like, man, like you do this and, like you look in the older guys, the way they talk and it's like, why is that guy so much more, like, why is that guy draws people in?
Yeah.
Why is that b-boy? Why is that person? Why is that DJ draws people in? Because he does this. Oh, what? Because he does that. Oh, he's using his arms a lot. People get interested from it. Yeah. It's like, oh, he's using this. Oh, he's leaning back. He's acting like he's chilled. It's like he doesn't care like about what that guy's thinking. He just say what's in his mind. You know what I mean? He's not scared of like saying things that are wrong and whatever. You know what I mean? So that little things that I pick up along the way. As I get older, I'm like, I'm learning all these tools and now I can deal with like, people who think like celebrities, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I can match their energy in a way.
Yeah. Fuck, I actually like love that concept of like, especially from using like dance. Cause even for me, like, it's always weird whenever I bring up like dance, like to me, I always wanted to improve in dance, but never to be a dancer.
Yeah.
But I just I've always just thought like, if I become like, just like really good at something, I'll acquire a bunch of like tools and that's going to lead me to the next thing.
Yeah. I think for you to be like, the way you should be thinking is like, how do I be the best dancer? How do I be the best choreographer? A lot of people like, they're too shy to think that. They're too humble, right? Like if I think that, I'm like being egotistic, narcissistic guy. It's like, nah, man, you have to like think bigger than that. Do you know what I mean? Like that was like my thing. It's like, man, like that's what I started learning. When I started becoming confident, thinking I'm like the best, right? Like I started noticing, it's like, man, I'm starting winning a lot. I'm starting to getting people coming up to me. It's like, yo, you're the best at this, you're the best at that. And you start believing that you're really good, and you notice like your dance improve even better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like even if you don't have a lot, like my moves, I'm not very skillful in my dance and like I'm not as technical as a lot of these guys, but I can still beat them in a battle. Do you know what I mean? I can smoke them. I can be like, hey, you know what? I have these things that you don't have. I have the confidence, I have the character, I have like this and this. When I dance, people are gonna react to my dance more than your like trickeries and like big movements and stuff like that. That's like for me, it's like in a dance, I'm trying to please the people. I'm trying to get the energy from people. How do I get reaction from all these guys?
Yeah.
Same thing in a social environment when I'm having meetings. Like, how do I get reaction from these guys? It's like, all right, what do you like? Or you like this particular business? All right, cool. I can tell you about this. I can impress you because I learn a lot from that. And then, I learn a lot of little interesting tricks that I can impress whoever I meet socially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the same thing with dance. Like people who don't know me, like some people knew me from dance, some people knew me from fashion. So when they start understanding, like people in fashion will be like amazed that I have this background in dance. Right? So it kind of worked both ways. And then people in dance like, holy shit, you're also in fashion. So now I have like two sets of skills and tools that I can play around with.
Yeah.
And then I want to expand mine. I want to have the third tool. What can I do now? Like, so you have to start thinking like, what else can I learn? What else can I learn?
Yeah.
Whether learning about magic. You never know. If I
Yeah.
learn magic, oh shit, now I have
That's like-
the
yeah,
two. It's
yeah.
like magic for me is
It's a
like, man,
different
this is the
thing.
best.
Yeah.
Right? It's like now you're interesting, right? So people want to know you because you're an interesting character, and not only you do this and this, but you can also this. And now you have that confidence because when you talk to a random, like, man, deep inside, like, man, I've got so much shit to offer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So now your confidence, like,
I think that's where the confidence really grows, when you really know you have something to offer.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even like, hey, I'm I'm trying to get there, or like I'm kind of like, as soon as you're like, no, this is what I'm gonna get, and I will get there, then you just start like building those tools and building that inside you,
100%.
and then you feel like you really have something to offer.
100%. That's why like people like who's made it such a young age, they already know, fuck, I've already accomplished this. That's why like sometimes I look at like 18-year-olds like, man, he's got so much confidence because he's achieved so much in his young age, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I was like, man, I wish I did that when I was younger. I wish I was more motivated. I wish I was thinking differently back then. Because I would have learned so much more. But that being said, I'm not gonna waste my time, my life to
Worry
just
about
like
the
worry
past.
about it. You know, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna like, dude, how much like new shit can I hammer in like this year? What can I learn this year? What can I achieve? What can I, learn and absorb? That's the kind of thing I'm always intrigued about.
Yeah. Would you like, what would you weigh with like self-awareness and like, again, building and like doing all these like things? Like, to me, again, like I think self-awareness of, again, knowing your skills and your the uniqueness within you. So like, again, like let's say you couldn't do these tricks, but you had the energy and the character to like get this side. Like, how would you weigh that up in terms of like how important it is? Maybe just like talk a bit about like self-awareness.
I think for me, is I don't really think about that much. I mean,
Okay.
I think what changed me, the tipping point for me was when I watched that video, The Secret.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all about like law of attraction, visualization, and that's the thing that I love. Like because growing up, I remember the guys like, hey, if you want to be able to do flares, don't think you can only do one flare. Think you're doing multiple flares in your head. So it's like that's the first step of like visualization, right? And in your head, you start dreaming about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then you wake up like, I feel like I can do flares because you visualize that. And then after watching the movie, I was like, man, that makes so much sense. So now, like, that becomes like the visualization thing. I think trickles down to you don't put any limitation on yourself. You know, that's why for me it's like I don't even know what self-awareness is because I don't feel there's a limit. You know, I feel like I can achieve whatever I want to achieve if I like believe it, if I visualize it, and I think that self-belief. You know, like more like if I feel like I can do this and I just train in my head, it's like I'm doing that already. I'm achieving that already.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, totally. It's weird. I remember talking to Seto about it, even like back in the day, like the whole was it law of attraction, secret, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just knew it as a kid. Even I kept just saying like, if you know it within your heart truly, it will happen. And it's like the same sort of thing. And I just think,
I think it's like, I mean, look at all the big successful people around the world, you know, and just kind of like, you know, they all tell the same story, how they got it, you know, and just so many videos about like, you know, manifesting what you visualize and what you're thinking and all that, you know, it's true. Like I had a list back in the days. I was like, I want to be on TV, and I was on TV. I want Red Bull, like I want to be number one. I want Red Bull BC1, and I want to travel because of that. Red Bull flew me around and like the world. I've been around the world. You know, I want to do this. I want to do that. I wanted this car. I got that car. Everything that I wanted, I've started crossing off to a point where I was like, wow, I need my goal to be bigger. So I started writing big goals.
Yeah.
And then that also got crossed out. I was like, holy shit, like that goal wasn't big enough. Fuck this. I want to go bigger goals. And I started doing. So I'm still like, now my goal is like so far ahead. I'm not even trying to shoot for the stars and the moons anymore. I'm trying to shoot like past the galaxy. Do you know what I mean? That's how like I'm trying to set my goal, because like the limit is endless.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when things starting to happen, because people like, a lot of doubters be like, man, that's whack, that's wacky shit. Only when they start seeing me achieve it, like, holy shit, like you did that? Like, yeah, bro, like I told you I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, I said I was gonna do this and it happened. And now they're like starting to believe that whole law of attraction thing. But if you start telling normal people about it, they'll trip out.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Because
what
I
the
remember that feeling too. Like I was talking about it and people were like, kind of get it, but I was just,
Yeah.
it was just weird because it was in me. Like I just knew it was gonna happen. And it's the same with me. Like there's a bunch of things which I don't know if you write it down, but for me, I don't write it down, but it's just in my head,
Yeah.
like completely. and the same sort of thing. It just happens eventually.
Yeah.
And it's gonna like happen.
Yeah, I used to just have images there, but I got too lazy to find images, so I just write it down now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are your practices with like utilizing this like manifesting stuff?
I think like now, like I was kind of lost like a couple of years ago. Just kind of like I stopped doing it. I just kind of got lazy. And now looking back, I'm like, man, I should have kept going. And now I'm like doing a lot of like morning meditation, or like not even meditation. I was just pretty much laying in my bed, just doing this breathing technique where I start thinking about what I'm gonna achieve today, and like, you know, things that make me happy, and just having that feeling of gratitude. And I think that's the feeling of gratitude is the strongest feeling, where you start getting happy again. You're being happy again every morning. Even if you're feeling down, you start thinking of like things you have and why you're so thankful, and when you're so grateful for all these things, and makes you so happy. And when you're so happy and you're attracting all this good stuff coming into your life, like, you know, the past few weeks I was just getting all this cool stuff coming into my life where I'll be like, wow, just being happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because a lot of people are always upset, always down, and they attract those things.
Attract it.
Yeah, for me it's like, man, I'm gonna be constantly happy, and I'm starting getting all these cool stuff. Even when like bad things happening, I'm just trying to flip it.
Yeah.
You know, oh, this is a lesson that I'm thankful this stuff happened, because then I learn about this.
Yeah.
Then I become stronger. Then, you know, I learn what not to do, and I learn how to become better and all this stuff. So you always have to like know how to flip your mindset from negative to positive, like consistently. That's the hardest thing, right? But for me, I don't even think it was hard anymore. Just like, whoop, I just have things I have to do. Like change the word for me, man. It just like, it trips people out. Yeah.
I'm like, there's just so much I want to unpack from this, because I think it's such a topic that needs to be heard, and also like explained more, and like in our own unique ways as well. Because I think, again, like some people like really believe like, hey, just manifest and you just sit there, and it's like, no, you've got to put in work too. But it's like there's other parts to it as well. Like, what is your take on thinking about things and how you go about putting in work to like actually
sometimes
get there?
like it's not even so much about putting in a lot of work. It's like things that I achieved, I didn't like end up doing it through hard work. It was more like circumstances, timing, and all this, people you meet. So now, holy shit, that happened because of this.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, I like to do things that I like to do and makes me happy, and I like to work in an environment where it makes me happy, so it doesn't feel like work anymore. Do you know what I mean? So like, and that became like, for me, so I didn't even think about that's hard work anymore. I'm putting in 70 hours, but it feels like I wasn't working, because I'm like happy with that job. I'm so happy with what I do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're happy with dancing and just full-time dancer, I'm like, it doesn't feel like work anymore because you enjoy it so much. But then you have to, like, so the things that you manifest is like you're trying to manifest. It's weird. Like, I always think it like this. Like, law of attraction for me, visualizations for me, it's like driving and you see the city in the distance, right? But you don't know where the road's gonna take you, right? So you're gonna turn left, right, traffic lights, bumpy roads, detour, but then you know where you're going, right? So you, like, a lot of people think about, I'm gonna go left here, right here, and they get lost. They don't know where they're going because they're lost where the vision of where they're going. So, do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I know where I'm going. That journey, it's like a cruise control for me. You know when you're driving to work, you don't even think about it, you just automatic.
Just there,
so you know where you're going. You just know the end result. You know, there could be like a car accident and stuff like that, but you just go, cool, whatever. Yeah. That's like what I think about life. You know, that bad shit happened, but I know where I'm going. That's what I want to achieve. So that little shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. To me, I think it's the same. It's like you have your vision, and how is up to the universe. Like, it really is how. Like, you'll get there. This, like, literally what you said, that like city, and then your where you are. How is just let the road just be.
Exactly.
And you just live it.
Yeah.
And I think it will.
Put music on, enjoy it. It's like, that's what it is, man. I see it. Like, a lot of people get too stressed out. I'm like, how am I gonna get there? You know, no, you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just.
I feel like I want to talk about. I'm curious, like, even hear your opinion, but like, I think this is the side that not many people talk about. I like talking about things that I feel like not many people really talk about it, but even manifesting like negative sides. Like, there's one thing I've kind of heard, and like, let's say for me, okay, like, I want to be like a successful production company with like my filming. In order to visualize, like, if I visualize that, in order to get there, what the universe will actually bring is hard problems for me to overcome,
but like, when you see
I
it,
can
right?
be there.
But the thing is, you're thinking of like how define what do you mean by successful production company? What defines a successful production company?
Well,
What do you
yeah.
visualize? Like for me, like successful is a very vague.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can be like, hey, instead of saying, hey, I want to visualize like a successful production company. Hey, I want to have this many clients by this time. I want to start making this much money through my production.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You start visualizing in a more specific way because, you know, like
Yeah.
successful can be defined in many different ways.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? So it's like, I think for me, like, and then you start getting all these things that you should be thinking about, like, for example, hey, I want to have 1,000 customers by the end of the year, right? And then you start getting attracted to that. You know, you start noticing a lot of customers going to come in, rather than saying, you know, I want to have a successful company. Because a successful company could be, hey, you're a famous company, but you're not making money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So how do you define that? For some people, like, hey, famous is different to, you know, like.
Definitely.
So
Yeah,
you
definitely.
have to start thinking like, all right, what makes it successful to you, and then you start like really thinking and visualizing that as success.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But like,
And then the hard work. And then I don't think.
like as in like, let's say like, okay, that was pretty like probably not the best example, but let's say okay, we go with like 1,000 clients for like the year, but like what I've heard is like in order to be $1,000 client like production company, you would need to go through this, and this, and those are, it's not problems to me. I don't see it as problems, but like you need to go through this to become worthy of being a this person. Do you see it like that? In any
I don't
way?
see it like that at all. Like, I feel like, they're just giving rules, and I don't like rules.
Okay,
like, you know,
okay.
It's like, why do I have to do this and this? Like, you know, it's like my way of being rich and famous is going to be different to that guy's being rich and famous, because that's what I want to be. I want to be rich, famous. I want to be comfortable. I want to have enjoyable life. I want to live dope life. I want to create this. I want to change the world. I want to help poverty. You know, that's the things that I have in my vision board, right? It's like, but my way is different to what the other person's doing because my circumstance is different. You know, what I have is different to what he has or she has. Right? My tools that I have is different. I know how to dance. I know how to do this. I know how to socialize. And then that person might be better intellectually, or they might be better socially, or they might be better this, but that's their way. I'm not even concerned what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? That's their way of like trying to achieve that. I'm like, I care what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm driving a Mercedes, I don't care, you know, what the other guy's driving. We're gonna end up the same way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he might end up getting there faster, but it's cool. Like, but I like my little Mercedes, my Honda. It's more comfortable to me. The sound system is better. So for me, that's more enjoyable than riding on a sports car. Might be like faster to get there, but it's bumpy on the way. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I think about it.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, as long as you got a clear vision of what you want, like the hard work on all these steps, like it's irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How I manifest my future was like, I didn't know how I was gonna get on TV. I just put, I want to be on TV. And then I auditioned So I Think Dance, and then I was on TV because of that. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't, like, not a million years I would know how to get there. I remember reading Sneaker Freaker. I'm like, man, one day I want to be on Sneaker Freaker magazine. I didn't know I was gonna get there. I didn't know that I had to get the store to get to the magazine. Do you know what I mean? Like, so,
the pathway to like.
like I said, like the roads didn't. It's irrelevant. It didn't matter. Like, I know where I was gonna go. So right now I want to be like, I want to achieve this. I want to have $30 million by 35. I want to have, you know, a boat. I want to have this soon. You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I believe that I'm gonna get it. So it's kind of like how I get there is irrelevant. I might win a lotto tomorrow, so that could be my way of getting it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you never know.
I love that, because to me, I feel like the same way in terms of like just like focusing on your thing, and again, it's like your path. Like, it doesn't matter about like how other people have got it and like what the steps are and stuff. But I think it's like really interesting points that you brought too, because again, the way I live at least is the whole like not comparing thing. Like, no matter how good people have got it, you can look at it and be like, oh, I wish, but like just focus on your own path and your vision, and how you get there is going to be just completely unique to
100%.
you. Yeah.
So a lot of people trying to have the same blueprint, but everyone has a different blueprint.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's building a different house.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to look at that guy's blueprint because it's not going to be relevant to me. I'll see what he believes in, what he kind of like, how he thinks, because that's interesting, because I want to take that, because I want to take the tools.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what he's building with the tools. I can give you paintbrush and paint, and then you're going to paint differently to what I'm painting, right? But you have the same tools. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? Like, these tools, like, if you know how to use these tools, I'm like, what can you build from that? What can you make from that? But I want to have the tools. So that's how I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super dope. Well, that's like the reason why I created this show as well. Like, just because, again, everyone like tries to find out like what's happening, what's good. But it's like, to me, like, what's everyone's blueprint and how did they get there?
Yeah.
And like, again, trying to take away something from like, whether, again, if a dancer now looks at it and it's like, hey, I might apply that to like my social life now.
Yeah.
Like, or just taking this, because to me, everyone's like journey is like super individual and super unique. I think they just have to ride with the tools they got given
100%.
and just like go for like what you like really like envision. I'm gonna try and do this. Like, I'm gonna hopefully not stuff up, but like, there's a question of, if you could have anything, if you could have one wish, and it's not to bring someone from the dead, it's not to have like a million wishes.
Yeah.
What would your wish be?
My wish would be happy. Be forever happy. That's like the biggest, I think. Like, happiness for me is freedom. So like, if I can be free and be happy, it's just like, that's my goal in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, that freedom is the hardest thing to, you look at, Aladdin, Genie wants to be free. It's like, even Genie wants to be free.
Yeah.
That's for him, it's like like the ultimate happiness. For me, that's what it is, ultimate happiness. Just being free. That's why you want to be financially stable, so you can be free.
Yeah, I was gonna say elaborate on free, because I'll have a point after to like why I asked the question, but like elaborate.
Like, for me, it's like being free is like being able to do anything, being able to manifest what I want, being able to, enjoy life without worrying about the little things, the negative things. Some people are happy without money, some people are happy with money. Some people aren't unhappy with money, and then some people unhappy even without money. So it's kind of like for me, it's like just being free, being not to worry about this. There's so much negativity in the world already, and you just want to create your own world. This is like, for me, just like being able to create my own world and manifest what I want. That's the ultimate freedom. Experience new things. Like, just like you want to complete your life full. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's, for me, it's like the ultimate thing. I think freedom and happiness is just kind of like together. It's kind of like hand in hand.
Fuck, I love that. Cool. I just think freedom, for me, freedom's like one of the most important ones for me too.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess, very similar to like living the life that you want in your own way. Yeah. But with that question, I just find it interesting because I've heard it from a podcast, but pretty much it like kind of shows the other person their limit on like what their wish is. So like what they actually did with this question, they went to like suburbs with like lower like economic like,
what did they say?
And they said $1 million. And it's very interesting because it's like you have a genie and you could ask for 10 million, a billion.
Yeah.
Like the number could be higher, but their limit, their cap was 1 million.
Because the way they think is different.
And that's fucking interesting.
That's why like with the law of attraction, right? It's like people just think numbers is their limit, but it should be like, hey, prosperity or abundance is like it's like unlimited.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So why you limit yourself with that number? Because it makes no sense.
Yeah. That's why I find that like question really interesting. And I think it ties into the manifesting thing. It's like literally what you think your limit is literally what's going to be your life. And if you really believe whatever that limit is, and you can break past the 1 million to like a trillion, like just ask, like there's a genie, like you can ask for like way more. And I don't believe we need a genie manifesting. Like I really
but I don't
believe
even think like that's the money thing. It's like
that's like
do you know what I mean? Like it's so stupid because like you could have $1 billion and you still be unhappy. Like
exactly.
I'd rather be happy. You have mental issues when you have like even when you have $1 billion, you could be like, do you know what I mean?
That's another like weird.
It's crazy. So it's like when I hear people like wishing that, it's like, man, really? Like you limit yourself that low.
Even to that, that's another point to it as well. Like limiting to just the financial. It's like why couldn't you wish of like everything surrounding, but including financial, which is like the freedom part. Like you mean? Yeah.
And that's it. Like that's why I say freedom, because it's like asking the genie, like, hey, you can have one wish. What do you want? I want unlimited wishes.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, unlimited wishes like freedom and being happy. Yeah. Like because that's ultimately what you want to achieve by having all these things, right? Like you have a wish, so you can be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to, all right, give me whatever wishes, and the end goal is to be happy at the end of the day. So it's like, for me, it's like, that is the end goal.
Yeah. I love it. That's dope. We'll get to like last two questions. So this is a bit random, but like I saw recently you like deleted Instagram.
My Instagram, yeah.
I'm just really curious because to me the whole social media thing I like love, but like
I think for me it's like it's also like I hate it when things taking control of me.
okay,
I remember I did dry July, but I ended up doing dry July, August, and a bit of September. I was like, oh, I was killing it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't needed to drink, and when things like I don't like being addicted to anything. Do you know what I mean? I don't like being controlled by anyone, by anything. So that again, the idea of freedom. You know, so when I start going through Instagram every morning, every day, every 5 minutes, it's like, wow, what am I doing? Like, you know, this is becoming so addictive, and it's just wasting a lot of time. And I want to test myself. Can I delete it for a month or 2 months? And you know, it's been like a month and a half. I'm like, cool, I can do this. I've done that. So I want to push it maybe like till mid-October, just so I can you know do it again. I do need it for business. At the end of the day, everyone's like freaking out because I'm not on Instagram. Like, I want to tag you for this. I want to like link you up for this, and like so I will need it again.
yeah,
But I think I'll probably won't use it as much.
Yeah.
You know, just have that freedom. Just enjoy the nature again, and just like now build some sort of daily routine, daily habit that I can improve now, so my life gets better, and now I can manifest more of things that I envision.
yeah. I love it. I think maybe it could help some people like because I know like like you need social media for business. That's like in this world you need that. But what is the way that you're gonna balance it now? Maybe it could help someone.
Yeah, I think like now that I just start doing things that so every morning I think of it's like, all right, I'm gonna learn 3 things today.
Okay.
So every morning I want to learn 3 things, right? Whether it's like I said, magic trick or whatever, like learning a new language or just learning something. So I've been learning like every morning. I watch like YouTube videos, podcasts, like trying to learn, like we're trying to understand. So that's like, you know, every day you kind of like you're not going backwards. You feel like you're going forward. So I think that's the best when you have like a goal. It's like, all right, I'm gonna learn 3 things. You start getting distracted by these progress, and you don't think about Instagram as much anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, fine. That's dope. Cool. Maybe just to end the last note. If you just had to say like one message to the world, what would that be? I just like to ask random questions each time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just go with that.
One message to the world. I don't know. I think just like everyone just needs to cut the bullshit and just like stop thinking, stop being so negative. You know what I mean? Like I've managed to clear my thoughts and my mind to be just positive. And I think when everyone's starting being positive, I think it will like fix a lot of things in the world. You know, politically, you know, like everything's gonna be a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone will be at peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hectic. All right. Thank you so much, man.
Cool.
Appreciate
All good,
it.
bro.
All right. Dope. Bruh.